Yo, what's up world? Welcome back to the channel. APW Sports signing in, and in today's video we're going to tackle and discuss the real reason why Mitch Trubisky has failed as the quarterback of the Chicago Bears since the 2017 NFL Draft. But before I get into the reasons why Trubisky failed, make sure you guys leave a like on this video to help beat the YouTube algorithm. And if you guys are just new to the channel and you love football content and you just love football, this is the place to be. Go ahead right now, click that subscribe button, and also click that notification bell so you will not miss a single video that I post. But enough with all that, let's get into this topic. Without further ado, let's dive into it. Now, I previously made a video where the real reason Bear fans hate Mitch Trubisky, and that's going to tie into the entire process of that 2017 NFL Draft. So if you guys want to take a look at that video, I'm going to leave it at the card at the end of this video. The beginning of Trubisky's struggles started even before he was in the NFL with the Bears organization and how things came about in the 2017 offseason. The first move, which I agree was the best move, was getting rid of this guy. Yeah, that guy. I'm not going to mention his name, but yeah, that guy. That was the first thing that happened. It was great. But then the next thing that happened really started the downfall of Trubisky from there. One move that the Bears made in the 2017 offseason, I feel really changed the trajectory of Mitch Trubisky's career, and that was the signing of Glennon to a 3-year, $45 million deal in that 2017 offseason. Now, looking back on it, it was a bad move, but even at that time, I feel it was a bad move if you were going to take a quarterback in the 2017 draft, being that Glennon was still kind of new to the league and young himself, coming off of a couple of good games with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers during his time. But if you were going to take a quarterback in that 2017 draft, I feel the best move the Bears could have made was signing a veteran quarterback to help guide whatever young quarterback that the Bears had decided to take in the 2017 NFL Draft. And I think the quarterback that could have helped best would have been Ryan Fitzpatrick, who also was a free agent that year, coming off a couple of good seasons with the New York Jets. I feel if Ryan Fitzpatrick was a guy that would have been signed, he could have, number one, been a mentor and helped develop whatever quarterback that they decided to take, which was Trubisky. And number two, you could have had him as that bridge guy from year one to year two, because coming into that 2017 NFL Draft, scouts had Trubisky high, but a lot of people were saying that Trubisky was one of those project quarterbacks and it's going to take him a while to develop. And I really feel that if the Bears would have signed Ryan Fitzpatrick instead of Glennon, he could have really truly been that bridge quarterback that the Bears actually needed at that point. Taking a quarterback that was pushed to start right away and then taking Mitch Trubisky in that draft was really not a great move, especially for the franchise going forward. Trubisky was one of those quarterbacks that needed to sit a year. He was one of those quarterbacks that needed to develop before taking the field in the NFL. He got preseason reps and he looked solid in the preseason, but I still think that Mitch Trubisky in that 2017 year needed not to play a single snap, or if he did, it was in snaps whether the Bears were losing big or the Bears were ahead big, or maybe not just play them at all and let him sit and develop and take a year to watch the NFL, take a year to inhale what all the NFL experience is all about at the quarterback position. And the guys compare him to Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. If you guys do not remember, Patrick Mahomes also sat his entire rookie season outside of week 17 in that last start. And also in that 2017 NFL season, the Kansas City Chiefs had Alex Smith, a guy who has had some success in this league, a guy who was a veteran, a guy who was proven as a starting quarterback, and the Chiefs were an 11-5 football team that season alone. So when you have Alex Smith in the fold, a guy who can help Patrick Mahomes develop, a guy who can teach Patrick Mahomes some things and be that bridge quarterback from year one until year 2, when Patrick Mahomes had that fabulous 5,000-yard and 50-touchdown season. He had Alex Smith to really sit behind, he had Alex Smith to learn from, and he had Andy Reid, a coach who was brought in as an offensive mind, a coach who was brought in to boost that Kansas City Chiefs offense. So I feel Trubisky would have been better off if he really sat behind a guy like a Ryan Fitzpatrick, a veteran quarterback who can have some success. He's had some failures in his career, but I feel he would have been the absolute perfect mentor to mentor a guy like Mitchell Trubisky, who was a real development, to be honest, coming out of that 2017 draft. And another thing that you can point at is John Fox as the head coach. Now, if you were going to take a quarterback in that 2017 draft and you were going to have a guy that you thought was the franchise quarterback going forward, I feel it would have been absolutely best to pair him with an offensive coach, pair him with an offensive mind that can grow him going forward, instead of keeping John Fox around, a defensive-minded guy, a guy who came out and said that he was not known that the Bears were going to take Mitchell Trubisky in that draft. So if you had plans to really develop a quarterback, Ryan Pace should have made the move to let John Fox go a year earlier and brought in an offensive guy who can come in and really develop Mitchell Trubisky to have that project really work out, instead of keeping John Fox for 2017 and throwing Mitchell Trubisky in the fire so early in the Monday Night Football contest against the Minnesota Vikings of that 2017 season. Things would have been a lot different if Mitchell Trubisky would have sat his first year in the NFL. I feel if he would have sat his first year, he could have sat back and inhaled some things. He could have sat back and really just learned the NFL game instead of being thrust and being pressured to be that guy right away, which I really feel he wasn't that guy right away coming out of that 2017 NFL draft. Another factor that I feel played a really big part in Mitchell Trubisky's failure as a Chicago Bears starting quarterback is the way Matt Nagy handled Mitchell Trubisky throughout the course of his tenure as the head coach of the Chicago Bears. 2018, it really saw Mitchell Trubisky shine to his brightest light and has been his best season thus far. He made the Pro Bowl in that year. And if you watch that 2018 Chicago Bears offense, it was a lot of bootlegs, it was a lot of RPOs, it was a lot of quick decisions, and the Bears had a really productive running game with Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen in the backfield, and Mitchell Trubisky was coached towards his strengths, and his athleticism was used a lot throughout the course of that 2018 season. He also made some good throws, he made some bad throws. That was a really good season for Trubisky, especially that 6-touchdown game that he had against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers of that 2018 year. Trubisky was on the upswing from there, from that 2018 season, which saw him throw for over 3,000 yards, over 20 touchdowns, and less than 15 interceptions in that year. But the problem that the Bears had from there on forward, starting in week 1 of the 2019 NFL season, was that the Bears kind of stripped the offense of using his athleticism and dropped him back at least 40 to 50 times in the first couple of games of the 2019 season. The play calling of Matt Nagy, I've not been a fan of personally. It was more pass happy, and the Bears team, even then and now, is built as a run first football team, and then you can throw some play action and some things that can complement the running game. Being a pass-happy football team, the way the Chicago Bears were constructed, it was not going to play into their favor because they didn't have a lot of big-time weapons. The offense was very simple, and it was very short, and the offense is built towards a run-heavy football team. And another reason why I feel that Mitch Trubisky did not have the greatest of success is I feel that Matt Nagy really lost confidence in him at some point during that 2019 season. I really think it was the Rams game of last year where he was benched in favor of Chase Daniel late in that football game. I think that really started the non-belief that Matt Nagy had in Mitchell Trubisky. Matt Nagy's lost confidence in Mitchell Trubisky was brought even more to the forefront when the Chicago Bears pulled off a trade to acquire Nick Foles from the Jacksonville Jaguars to compete with Mitchell Trubisky to be the starting quarterback for the Bears in this 2020 NFL season. Mitchell Trubisky, I feel he was not the greatest of quarterbacks during his time, but I also feel with a lot of changes in the way things were handled in that 2017 offseason, if those changes would have been made and some of those things would have been done a little bit differently, I think we will be talking about an entirely different quarterback as we speak right now. All plans are headed towards the Bears letting Trubisky walk after this season, after his tenure did not go so well. But I really feel that a lot of Trubisky's failures, you cannot pinpoint every single failure of the Mitchell Trubisky experience on him. Now, a lot of Bear fans I've seen are going to point towards that, but I really feel that if that 2017 offseason was handled better, and if things were handled different going into 2019 with this development, I really feel that Mitchell Trubisky's career and Mitchell Trubisky's stance as the Chicago Bears quarterback will be in a total different position as from where it is right now. But that is all I have for you guys today. Be sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Be sure to comment your thoughts down below. I really would love to see how you guys feel about the failures of Mitchell Trubisky as the Chicago Bears quarterback. And also, if you've gotten to this point in the video and you are not subscribed to the channel, go ahead right now and click that subscribe button, and also click the notification bell so you will not miss a single video that I post. But I am APW Sports signing out. Make sure you guys stay safe. Have a great next of the day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.